to the Wicked Majesty channel. I am your host, Keya Reed. In tonight's video, I will be introducing you to another horror story I wrote called The Stamp of Death. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any upcoming horror content. Let's get started. What if it's engraved on your forearm how you'll die? You can't see it right now, but it's there. It's clear to me. I know what's written. The design is big and bold. It's always been dark. Oh, and how old you're going to be. It's what I refer to as your death stamp. Mrs. Brown, my elderly neighbor, was watering her roses when I was 8 years old. Can you tell me what stroke means? I asked my mother. Do you know how you swim with your arms moving back and forth? Yeah, those are strokes, she replied. Or when you gently pet a cat. Do you have the ability to stroke 62 cats? I suppose so, says my mom, confused. Come sit down and wash your hands. You have a funny way of asking questions. Mrs. Brown may have written it on her arms since she enjoyed swimming so much. Or maybe she liked cats. Adults were amused in that manner. Mrs. Brown was taken away by paramedics on Tuesday. After a few weeks, her children had a large yard sale. I couldn't see either swimming goggles or suits, so I settled with a 2-quarter china cat. My mother was correct. Mrs. Brown had a thing for cats. In 20 years, my mother would leave me, and my father was leaving in 5 years. Heart failure and stroke is how they would go. Neither of them is aware that I can see it. I was 9 years old at the time, and I had scribbled Shark Attack 50 on my arm during class as a joke. Fall off a ladder 30 was on Sarah Cray's arm. Drowning 17 written on Cody Anderson's. Mrs. Liston questioned about the writing on my arm. It just sounded cooler to me than everyone else's, I said. What's everyone else? She asked, confused. Everyone else's arms have writing on them. No one else has anything on their arms, Miss Liston said. They do, I replied. Kidney cancer 48 says yours. What do you mean? I was taken to the principal's office by Miss Liston. She was wiping away her tears at her desk when I returned. After telling his mother about what I said about his arm, Cody said he couldn't play with me anymore. I was stopped from watching television after a couple more parents objected that I was talking to their children about dangerous adult stuff. I learned not to say anything at all after that. The majority of stamps were mundane. Strokes, heart attacks, etc. When I'm in the rougher parts of town, I see the unusual gang shooting. You might be curious as to when it begins when you get those markings on your arms. When I got home from the hospital, I checked my newborn sister's arm. I had lately been grounded when I was 9 years old. I didn't want to get in trouble for revealing to my mother that the baby's arm was also covered with writing. Cancer 10. As time passed by, I started to figure out what the markings and numbers on everyone's arms meant. In the beginning, I realized it the hard way. I would keep notes on the markings of the people close to me, and when their time would come, I would go and check my diary. The first few years of accepting what I had were hard. I knew how and when the person next to me would die. Who would want a gift like that? My supervisor walked over to my office and dropped a large file next to me with a thump. By the end of the day, I need this cataloged, he said, as he walked up to tease the receptionist. I despised him. But that was okay because I was aware of how he would go. When no one was watching, I raised the temperature in the room to 80 degrees. Liver failure, 41, was written on his arm when he took off his coat and rolled up his sleeves. He had made a huge deal out of preparing the building the week before his 40th birthday. Within a year, I told myself, everything will be perfect. I would give my monthly pounds of bacon by the big man behind the meat counter. For a long time, I'd see his stamp, 56, diabetes. He'd probably live for another 20 years. Overdose, 37, was written on the nightly grocery clerk's arm, and I had to pretend I wasn't aware of the needle marks. He would hand me my receipt and add, "Have a great day." "You too," I would say with sincerity. As I go away, a teen on a skateboard passed by me, his shirt billowing in the night air. "Hit by a car, 58. I brought my items to my car across the parking lot. I noticed the tall blonde girl loading up her car next to mine drop a bag of apples, which rolled all over the place. I collected a few and headed up to her to return them. Thank you for watching my video about the spine-tingling horror story, The Stamp of Death. I hope you enjoyed exploring the dark twists and turns of this chilling tale. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of the wicked and terrifying content I provide on here. Also, tune in next week for the continuation of this story as it takes on a much darker turn. Until next time, sleep tight, don't let the shadows bite.